Hello, collectors of comic books, ephemera, heroism, and imagination. It's Dave, one of the crazed collectors at Super Monster City, where we bring pop culture icons to life and we try and inspire you to be entertained, informed, and educated about our past pop culture history. Right now, we're going to take a look at these oversized treasuries that Marvel and DC both came out with back in the day. This was such a big deal. You can't imagine how big a deal this was. Superman and Spider-Man teaming up in 1981. It was a DC and Marvel Presents, and it was the team up of the century. It was $2, and it was really amazing. There's a little soliloquy from Stan Lee, a comment from Carmen Infantino, who was the head guy there. Now, as kids, we could never figure out, we kept thinking, well, really, Superman would kick Spider-Man's butt, I think. But they figured it out and they made it a good storyline, and we were kids and we thought it was amazing. Again, this is like over 40 years ago. And that was followed up by this one, where again, they team up against Dr. Doom and the Parasite. And that was pretty darn cool. These were just amazing. Oh, hang on, I gotta get that. Or not. Now, here's another one that I like that DC put out, Dick Tracy. If you've watched Super Monster City stuff, you know that I love Dick Tracy because he's a no-nonsense hero. There's not a lot of angst and victimhood. The bad guys get their comeuppance, and everybody gets what's coming to them. And I like that. And then here's another DC one, Tarzan. Now, again, this was only $1, and this was pretty much all reprints. There's the Joe Kubert era of Tarzan. These were quite exciting. Now, Marvel had their own treasuries. Here's one of Conan the Barbarian, which reprints his Barry Smith stuff. And it was like, if you were there when Barry Smith started having Conan stories, when Marvel started publishing Conan way back in the 70s, you couldn't get enough of this kind of stuff. It was art unlike any we'd ever seen, and Conan was amazing. I'll be quick here. Here's another one, Christmas with the superheroes, and there's Santa Claus and Superman's helping out. Again, these ones that weren't the team up ones and the super duper ones, again, these are all reprints that they had on file, and so it wasn't costing them anything. They weren't creating anything new, and those of us that were comic geeks and crazed collectors, we had to have this kind of stuff. I've got a huge pile. Again, here's Superman celebrates the bicentennial. Oh my goodness. And again, it's a bit of everything in here. You have some, history, and you've got some George Washington. You've got some Tomahawk. He was kind of a pioneer Revolutionary War hero that DC had. Oh, let's get Secret Origins of Supervillains. Oh my goodness. And that's, again, old reprint stuff that tells us who these characters are and where they came from. Because when we were kids, we didn't have the internet, and we had to rely on the publishers themselves to tell us where they all came from. And since we're talking about a big pile of oversized stuff, these happen to be in the same pile. There's a very famous Rolling Stone. And then here's a very famous Look magazine, which was a premier picture magazine back before, when magazines ruled the newsstands. Sean Connery, James Bond, and Ian Fleming. So again, Sean Connery and James Bond were so big that they were a cover story on a national magazine. And they co-opted, Ted Kennedy, they didn't care about him, they wanted Sean Connery. So, Dave Barnhill, Crazed Collector, Super Monster City, where my partner and I, Steven, put on pop culture exhibits that come to libraries and county museums and galleries. And we want to come to a neighborhood near you. So find us a place, talk to that curator, and send us onward. All right, we will be waiting to hear from you. Tell me what you remember about these crazy giant-sized treasuries. They were a big deal back then, and now I've got piles and piles and piles of them. There you go. All right, well, I better get going. You better type something to me right now. Tell me what you remember. I want to hear about it. All right, take care. Bye-bye.